in the beginning of the purchase of funds, we had some kind of, I don't want to call it fight, but we were kind of arguing if we should go ahead with it under the PPP. And I remember that after all the meetings, we said, if that is the party that he belongs to, then we should respect his decision and buy it under the party. But we still feel that if he doesn't get it, yes, it may be nice for him to, move to where he can get it, but that's personal for me. But then it will still have to come from him. What next? Right? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Engineer James, and please go ahead, please.
I wanted to respond to it.
You can just, you have to wait to get to what people go. I'm about to do. Engineer James, go ahead, please. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
My take on this is I want to try to I really don't have much doubt. These things you guys invited online. I don't know if you did invite her, Dr. Tina, for coming to clear some hair, but if you actually got the party tickets, the contesting tickets and stuff. But I recall there was a guy, I'm sure you guys will know him, called Condition Onibinde, probably the guy with the Bodge IT or something like that. I think. I recall he even tweeted something like he's ready to, get a funding system, raise funds for Peter Obi also. So I really don't have much doubt if Peter Obi did, if the youth did buy for him, And also, I really don't get the idea about this, but it's a good thing for us to really check some of these guys if they are trustworthy or not. But are we trying to also lead them what is his name, Atiku, if the youth actually bought for him? I would love to see that, like, if we can also check him off, if the youth also bought ticket for him. It's not just Peter Obi we are looking at, So my question is, are we also looking at questioning
Yeah, so
people
let me answer your question on Engineer James. So I think good question. So the reason why, for Peter Obi, I decided to make it a conversation on the space, obviously for this week. I think during the week of Saraki's purchase, it barely even made the news, although I know people, got together. Somebody will send me a link and said, hey, I'm just reaching out to all my friends. I want to support a friend. And I said, who is this friend? And I didn't really respond because, again, you have your other priorities. But then for Peter Obi, I think it's only safe to say that, again, there's a lot of interest and I would say, energy behind the fundraising base and support, crew. So, and the reason why I'm even probing is because I want to see this is the new direction we're going as a country. So Banky W declaring for House of Reps yesterday now, it's going to be very interesting to see if the public truly comes out to support him. I'd expect him to use the money he made from being an artist to fund his own campaign. You talk about Soro Soke constituency, which I belong to. We want to take Lucky One. Me, I said it before. There's no doubt where my alliances are. Lucky One, Ikeja has to go to the Soro Soke constituency. If the person joined APC or the person joined PDP or ADC or YPP, I don't care. That person gets that seat. And again, what would it take to mobilize a base that is voracious, that is energetic, and can transform it across communities? It's not because, again, I like PDP or I hate APC, but I'm just saying, is that person going to go in there and do my bidding? Is the person going to speak on my behalf? When I talk about the Soke votes and the Soke candidate, I'm talking about the fact that young people have a chance to be able to earn a living in Nigeria. I'll talk about the fact that the person will not stand there and Twitter is banned and the person will keep quiet. need to start understanding that it comes down to policy position. Once people don't have policy positions and they get into office, then that means they're anybody's tool. If the candidate is going in there to serve my agenda, that's all I care for. I don't care about his church or his ethnicity or his tribe. So if I look at the Peter Obi and I say, hey, Nigeria needs fiscal policy, we need to rein in our debt, we need creative, innovative leadership that can transform for the next generation. I say, hey, here goes my candidate. I don't care if the person has run for president 4 times or 8 times or believes that, oh, it's his destiny to become president. None of that's in my business. Even when there's all of these human rights violations and everything else, free speech being attacked, is this person an advocate for social justice? So I think we have to start being very, 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 very intentional. And there's something I did on my Twitter page about a week or two ago. I listed my own top priorities, and at the top, I said, "Hey, look, any candidate that speaks this language, I don't care if you're APC or PDP. If you speak this language, you have a track record to back it. I will vote for you. I would, I'm your constituency, of course. I will donate money to your campaign, and I will do heavy lifting for you. And that's what we all ought to do. We don't have to go join political parties to be the difference makers. So, like a Dr. Tina now, Dr. Tina, sorry, excuse me. See her and many others doing what they're doing for Peter Obi. That's what we ought to do. A school principal in Ikorodu should be able to emerge as assemblyman to represent Ikorodu constituency in Lagos State because he understands the community. He's not some transplant, some guy that was a PA to a senator in Abuja that will just come back because his mother had a house in Ikorodu, or maybe because he can get a NEPA PHM meter and he use it and say, oh, Godfather can take him and then install him. And so I'm just saying all politics needs to become local, but then when you talk of grassroots, what we're doing right here is grassroots. What these friends of Peter Obi are doing is grassroots. Grassroots is not a market woman or the Agbero. I'm going to educate people. Grassroots is you, your neighbor, be it university professor, military general, say, hey, on our street, this young kid that picks up trash will be our councilman. You see this guy that goes to motor park to organize them will be our local government chairman. And that's how you make a difference. But anyways, let me let you wrap up. I go to the next speaker.
Okay, I wouldn't even take much time. I do really get what you're doing now, and I think it's a very good job. So keep it up. It's very good what you're doing. I really appreciate it because personally, I'm not for one party or the other. I'm for the individual also. Like I would rather have, even if, because look at other climes, look at others normal countries in the world, from the States to Canada to other part of the world. People encourage the particular candidate they feel that is good enough to lead them, to be their president. It's not like in Nigeria where you have probably a godfather, or you want to start sponsoring your elections from stolen billions. So I really do appreciate that. Personally, I am for the individual. I don't care about the party. I believe if an individual is credible enough to lead a country, there is hope in doing that. So it's a good job. You guys keep it up.
All right, thanks for that. Okay, so I want to keep the mic rolling. So, Godfather, go ahead, Mike, yours. Again, if I drop you to the audience, it's not because I'm shutting your voice. It's just you can only take 10 people at once. So
Yeah,
please,
I'll go to listening now. Yeah.
yes, go ahead. Thank you, and feel free to drop yourself. So that way I can take more speakers. I'll drop you more, but you can come back up always. So go ahead, Godfather. Mike is yours.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Akin. This is Amasio speaking here. Nice to see you on this platform. Yeah. So, with regards to this issue of Banky W and all of that, for the past years, I've been preaching to people about having joining at least a party, any of the two major parties, and trying to infiltrate them first before we can decide. Okay, are we going to have enough, to make a change? And to be honest, if you really want to make these changes, I mean, all this stuff this notion that we have that we join any of these parties, you can't really do anything. I mean, you can't if you don't go in there with enough people, if you don't go in there with a movement, if you don't go in there with like a policy position, of course you will be swayed around. And that's what has happened over the years. There's not enough of us use in these parties, and that's why I keep preaching. Whether you like it or not, if you want to bring any other party, it's very, very difficult. Let's take, for instance, the House of Representatives in America. This young lady, Ocasio Cortez, At 27 years old, she defeated a political veteran. Why? How did she do that? Because she aligned with the major party, she aligned with the Democrats, and she was able to unseat a political veteran there. Anyone in the world, don't just come with another party that nobody knows about and think you can challenge the status quo. It will never happen anywhere. So I think first of all, first things first. I mean, he's declared. Banky has declared, but there's another thing for him to get the ticket, because if you look at the numbers from the last election, I think he finished third with about 7,000 votes. The PDP candidates had about 18,000, and the guy that emerged, the APC guy that emerged, had 22,000 votes. So, you know, it's going to, I don't know the position of the previous PDP candidate that got 18,000 votes, but for Banky to be able to get that ticket, it's not just going to be something that will be handed to him either. But, if he does get the ticket, with his own 7,000 votes from the previous election, his own structure already from that his other party, and with this PDP structure as well, he will, by the grace of God, he will emerge. If he gets that ticket, to represent Etiosa local government, he will emerge as the House of for the House of Reps. But I think this is a very good start for us youths. It should be an example. It should be something that signifies reality. It's good to see a lot of youths becoming more realistic when it comes to politics and all of that kind of stuff. And in terms of Peter Obi getting bought form for the PDP, I mean, it is a great time for all of us. I think we should all be happy that youths are finally trying to get involved, instead of spending money on Dorime all the time. We're actually using this money and actually putting it forward towards a movement, because whether you like it or not, we do need to infiltrate these parties. I mean, take for instance, even in 1993, with all those other big parties, SDP and co. Inside all these parties, they have people with movements. You saw Shehu Musa Yar'Adua with his own PDM movement inside the SDP party, which was able to have a very good policy stance within the party. This is what we should be doing as youths. We go in there with a movement. You don't necessarily have to like the party or what, but if you can go in there with a movement, over time, the movement becomes more and more formidable within that party system, meaning you can influence it more moving forward. But if you just stand outside and say, oh, these two parties, they are evil, this and that, this and that, this and that, we're going to keep coming here, we'll keep complaining for the next 15, 20, 30 years. Nothing is going to change. But anyways, congratulations to Banky W once more. I hope he is able to get the tickets to represent Etiosa on that PDP platform.
Thank you very much, Godfather. I just want to say, I'm not here to disagree. I mean, we can all agree to disagree in a respectful manner. I just want to remind you, I know you talk about somebody coming from nowhere. So, for example, just last year, I think it was November last year, Zambian new president, his name is Hakinda Hachim. He came as a third political party. So for example,
sorry. Let me just stop you there. That party that Hichilema emerged from, it's been the main opposition in Zambia since 2001.
It wasn't the main opposition party.
Since 2001. Yeah.
And the Alugo party was like our own APC. So the Zambia people had enough of APC and PDP.
No.
So
Olu, I just want to get something right. It has been main opposition since 2001. If you go and check it, please. So let's not come and sway people.
No. All right, no. So Oluwama and let me call it through you another example. Freedom Party in South Africa with Malema, right? So I think it's always very, very lost on us where we only assume that existing establishment political parties are the only ones that have a chance at the polls. It is not true. It is not true. It is not true. People make up parties. People make up communities. You cannot tell me any community will be analogous, or perhaps there's a hegemony where they would only vote APC or they would only vote PDP. Let me tell you, in a few decades, maybe 1 to 2 decades, you see the founding fathers of PDP, they'll all be dead and gone. What were their ideologies? What brought PDP together? Is there anything as a PDP card carrying member that you say you take to your grave? Are you going to pass a PDP card to your children? For example, in my household, I know my values. My children understand my values. When it comes to taxes, when it comes to religion, when it comes to acceptance and equal opportunity, when I will raise my kids, their values they will grow up with. They either depart from it or they either keep it. What are the values within PDP today that will tell you that 40 years from now, PDP will be around, or it's not just a bunch of acronyms with a lot of men that came together with power and money and formulated an establishment? What stops me and Oluomo today, 15 years from now, building a party, calling it Soro Soke party, finding ideology, speak truth to power, demand accountability, good governance, speak up for social justice. What stops us from making and building a party from decades from now that will be one that lasts generations? So let's stop this thing that it's only large parties that can only be successful at the polls. Going into the 2020 elections, yes, maybe other parties are not positioned. And Oluoma, I'm going to come back. I'm going to throw the mic back to you. So I think going to 2023, it would only be shameful that we would think that only PP and APT are the ones that have a chance. Yes, for now, because they are positioned. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we
We
can
can
hear you.
hear you. We can
Okay,
hear you.
I think my audio was faint for a number of people, but I'm just saying.
No, we can hear you.
So Oloma, back to you. Apologies, let me interrupt.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's fine. I mean, hey, we have to educate ourselves. I'm not saying Mr. Godfather is wrong, but the fact that is, let's as Nigerians ask ourselves, are we not tired of APC and PDP? Because we keep on saying these are really two parties that are going to move us forward. We've tried PDP, bad governance. We've tried APC, bad governance. I don't know. I mean, it's for all us as Nigerians to decide what's the way forward. Unless we get it right, I'm afraid we're going to keep on coming back here, back and forth, back and forth. Because the truth is, me, I'm tired. I'm tired. You understand? You know, we all see what's happening now. I'm tired. The new APC national chairman is a former PDP man. So it's like these both political parties are going back and forth. I mean, so clearly they're both the same. So what's the way forward? This question we need to ask ourselves as Nigerians, because I'm afraid, brother Godfather, me, I'm tired. Understand? What is the way forward? When are we going to come together as sitting of Nigeria and say, let's make a decision, let's be united and choose the right person for us to move us forward in this country? Enough is enough. I think the next person to speak is Godfather. You want to speak quickly? 30 seconds. Quickly,
Yeah. So let me just conclude here, right? You know, all well and good. You know, we're all tired, but the fact remains that let's be honest. I know what we experienced in 2015. You know, prior to 2015, I know what we experienced under PDP. Significant difference between then and now. We can be tired but I think at the end of the day, we need to just accept the fact that look, we're a lot better off under this PDP that we're trying to say we're tired of. We're a lot better. I personally, I wasn't tired of them in 2015. Let's be honest. But everyone else has their own opinions.
Okay,
So anyway,
I'm
I'll
answering.
stop
Just
there.
hold on. Yeah, so yeah, just stay with us on stage. Let's get the next speaker. So let's take Isamo. I think I see you come back. I want to give other speakers that are new on stage an opportunity, and I'll come back to the other voices. So let's take Chika Agbason. Chika, go ahead. Chika, are you there? Chuka, can you hear me? Okay, Chuka is not there. No, I was going to take Chuka, but then let's take White Beard. White Beard, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of a thought first, but if we take the use, an example of the South African guy, Malema. Malema was the youth leader of ANC before he went away to create EFF. So youths right now, we can gather together and create a party, but do we understand what it means to structure a party? I don't think most of us have that political ability to know. So there's nothing wrong if anybody just APC or PDP gets an experience for a while and divert to set up a new party.
So
That's
when you
what
say,
appeal to the youth.
so let me engage you there, and I hear this thing very often. When you say don't have experience with setting up a party and building a structure, can you explain that to us? Because again, I've heard this thing time and time.
I will not talk about.
It's a myth. It's a myth. But go ahead. Let me hear it.
It's not a myth. I will not talk about every other youth out there. Like myself, I can say, okay, I know what a political party looks like. I have no structure. I have no idea how the structure of a political idea of a party works. If I'm joining your party, I'm joining as a novice. I don't know what it means to galvanize people. I have no experience in galvanizing people. I don't know what it means to meet market people, to talk to them one-on-one. I might do that when I do my day-to-day business, but there are political languages and political way people have gone about it in a period of time. So we need certain people with certain experience.
So let me ask you.
Ourselves.
So I want to engage you there because this is where we educate each other in our generation. So my father and his friends want to run for office. They go to the market women, go to the motor park. They don't go to the banks. They don't go to the secondary schools. Hold on.
Okay.
They don't go to university campuses. They don't go to NYSC camps. They have the demographics for rent, and that's why I call them. My father's generation, their politics and my politics should not be one that we transfer from generation to generation. And I'm saying this because I've heard this many times.
Can I butt in there?
Go ahead.
You ask yourself, just even on the Twitter poll, how many youths actually vote?
A lot.
Usually, people that vote are people in the parks and market people. We don't even have enough time to galvanize youth to vote. Nigerian youths are more. No, listen.
Why do
Let
you think?
me land.
Okay.
We have more Nigerian youth that are more interested in the current musical scene than what's actually affecting both of us right now. Are you getting what I'm saying?
But that's not true. That's not true.
We have more. If we have a space now, how many people do you have on this space? We have 135 on this space. I've been on 3 spaces today. One about security, one about this. But let's have another space that talks about Big Brother right now. A fight between Sasuke and somebody else. You will see 3,000 people talking. Why are they talking over that? I'm not saying this out of I am saying things I am seeing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying things I am seeing.
Okay, so let me now. These are things I
am seeing.
So hold on. So this is how we solve the problem. So 2 days ago, I started this space and I dropped the video in WhatsApp. I said, David, can you get on the Twitter Spaces? He was mid-air flying to Qatar, middle of the air, and you're not even allowed to be on an audio app. And he jumped on. He was in this space and he contributed amazing conversation. I think it's unfair that we would just simply say that youths only go into spaces where there's talk of people in Nigeria. If you give people the audience and the conversation, hold on.
Tomorrow I will write a stat for you and I will show you how many people jump for seats like that.
Hold on, I just gave you an example. It was a political conversation and we had 1,000 people in here. Oluoma was here. So it's unfair. If you give people the platform and the conversation, they will engage. But now let me tell you something.
There's something about power.
Hold on. I'm not going to blame anybody. You see me, I'm on spaces. I could be hanging out on my Saturday afternoon, doing something amazing. I have 10,000.
Right now, I'm driving. I'm on this space.
But guess what? So we're here
because I'm interested.
So hold on. It's close to 200 people here on a Saturday. But this is what I'm saying. In a society that does not enable political engagement, right? How do you expect people to tune in? It's unfair to deprive people of the environment, but then say they do not participate. Let me tell you something else that are equally.
Can I say something? Can I say just one thing? Can I say one thing?
Okay, go on.
Can I say something? You make it sound like this is not a choice. It's a choice. If you can afford to buy data and tweet about Davido, no shade to anybody that loves Davido or loves whiskey or whatever it is. I have no problem with that. You can also develop this interest. What I am trying to explain to you is that sometimes it's not the society. Youths generally are not interested in politics.
But that's not true.
Youths are not interested in politics.
No.
I agree.
I agree with Mr. Whitebird. I think the problem we need to in our society is a lot of youth in Nigeria are not ready for good governance. I'll give a perfect example. Last year, October, I was hosting a 20 days NSAS. I don't know if some of these guys on this platform remember. I was hosting a 20 days NSAS activism for about 20 days. There was a day in particular they were doing money space. That money space had about 16,000 people. My NSAS space was less than 1,000 people. I was like shocked. On the NSAS, we're talking about police brutality. We're talking about the poor healthcare system. Talking about education, unemployment. Today, ASUS on strike today. How many of those youths were not affected? They're all affected.
How many youths are created spaces to talk about strike?
And this is what we need to do. We need to enlighten ourselves to understand, for them to understand that maybe they like it or not. The bad governors in Nigeria, everybody go try breakfast.
I love this space. Don't get me wrong. I love this space. I love what you are doing. Are you getting what I'm saying? But I will still say, I think we youths generally too, we need to talk to other youths to engage seriously in politics. Because whether we like it or not, whatever we do in politics affects us sooner or later.
So let me hear you. Let me hear me out, Whitebeard. So we are here in this space. Nobody's being paid. They did not drop a check in my bank account or Luoma's bank account to come and promote any one candidate. Rather, we are the ones that give people money. Okay? Fact.
Yes.
Now, I say this because I can sit here with you and have a conversation that you enjoy. We're in the same generation. Nigerian youths, again, prior to this, when they tune into channels, they say Yahaya Bello, they see a Rocha Sokrocha, they see people they can't relate with. How do you expect them to even tune into the conversation? So hold on now. When I talk of enabling environment, we now have to do the difficult work ourselves, right? If it's for me to bring a P Square in here and say, look, let's talk politics. Maybe people like your music. By extension, it will attract them to come to the conversation. That's what we ought to do. I'm not going to blame my father and his generation for failing to do this. an
I
environment
was
where they
blaming
participate.
ourselves. I was not blaming
But
my father.
why we
I'll blame ourselves out to blame.
so listen, everything you say is spot on. So when they say youth do not vote, but in the election, when you count the ballots, 70% plus of the votes are youth votes. What youth did the voting? Are you talking of poor youth in the rural areas? Are you talking of
Yes,
impoverished youth? So
I'm talking of impoverished youth, marginalized youth.
Hold on. So now delineate and be very fair. You should now say elite youths that make up the elite class do not vote and do not pay attention. Guess what? It's that way in every society, even America. If I'm a Harvard graduate, even in UK.
You're very right.
So let
it's the
us
poor that
different.
votes.
Let us separate the wheat from the chaff. Let's be very fair. And now the other thing too. These same poor youths that they say do not vote are the same youths that they accuse of voting Bibi Nigeria. When it comes time to voting favorite housemates, the votes are not coming from VI or Lekki. It's coming from Asaba, Agbo, Sapele, Patani, Ileife. Brother, let's be very people with 800 naira on their phone that barely have money for that barely have money to buy tomorrow's money are the ones voting during Bibi Nigeria. We have to be very sincere.
There's a reason why they are voting Bibi Nigeria. You just measured the point now. There are 2 points that for me, I think there are 2 reasons. I don't have the stats to back it up, but I feel there are 2 reasons why. Because first of all, Bibi Nigeria is accessible. One, in such a way that to vote, there's no stress in voting. You don't need the PDC. You don't need to line up under the sun. You can sit down in your house. You can be walking down the street and type yes, this person. It is accessible. It's easy to vote. So in a way, we need to make voting easier. I'm not saying it should be electronically as easy as this, but there should be steps that we should start thinking about.
So now,
like if someone like Banky W is getting into power now, those are steps we should start talking about. It doesn't even have to implement it. Talking about it is good enough.
Okay,
that people have easy access to voting.
Let's do this. I want to pass the mic to another speaker so that way you don't feel like we're talking.
But before I say something, let me just land. I feel contributing money for Peter Obi and Banky W, I think is a good and a bad idea. I feel it's a bad idea because I don't see the sense in it. But it's a good idea because we are pushing youth forward. And thirdly, I feel if people like Banky W should get into the passing system of those APC and PDP, they should make those forms easily accessible to people that you don't need to break bank. To be a president, you need 40 million naira. The other form, I don't know how much it costs, maybe about 27 million or 22 million naira. People need to break bank. We have people that have that money, don't have that money, but have the mental capability to manage that space well when they become governors or whatever it is. So we need a medium or a low entry point in terms of finance. That's what I have to say.
All right. So if you think you said, so look, what you're saying, the argument that youths are not properly engaged in politics in Nigeria is because the political system is not built to even educate the young people on what politics is about. Politics is very dark in Nigeria. That's first point. Second point, when you talk about civic engagement and access to governance, people in governance, it is non-existent. So a class of people I have no access to, why should I even pay attention to the activities? Lastly, campaign finance, which again, for me, I think is something that would define 2023. If I look at how we raise money during NSARS and all of the way small donor activity help push a lot of action into play, I'm hoping it becomes a template that some people are able to exploit. I use this example because when it comes to building a war chest for a candidate, say I take a Banky W for example, if he's going to run elections against a Babangida Banikoro in Etiosa, he doesn't come from.
He doesn't have the war chest. He doesn't have the war chest.
But guess what? The constituency that supports him can afford him that war chest. If there are 5,000 people that donate 5,000 naira to Banky W's campaign, it can buy him 40 billboards on the island. I've done the maths. Now, that's a start. If we now have candidates in Benin that can rally young, small donor support for their elections, people printing t-shirts, putting yard signs. When you see elections in America or the UK, and I print a yard sign, vote Hillary Clinton, they didn't give me that yard sign. It was my own $20. It's my own $5 because I believe in a candidate. Now, when we talk about young people not being excited about politics, if Americans will sit down and talk about the candidate, because by extension, there's something that connects them to the candidate personally or policy-wise, right? Maybe I am a pro-abortion candidate. Maybe I am a pro-human rights candidate. Maybe I am a pro-black candidate. there is something. What in Nigerian politicians connects them to the young masses? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
So,
True.
yeah, so I think until we get, that's why again I say this, because a Peter Obi may kind of be that candidate that is probably having that ability to energize a base based on his ideology, his perspective, and his track record. But again, let's keep the mic rolling. Great conversation. Sahid, go ahead. Mic is yours. Sahid.
I thank you so much for you giving me the opportunity. I've been listening very attentively, and I'm just gonna run through the notes that I made. The guy that said, I know you guys are saying this APC PDP syndrome. I don't get it. Why will you? I don't get it. Now the young chap was saying in America, in Canada, it doesn't. It happens. In Canada, there are two major parties, Liberal and Conservative. The third force is NDP. NDP, they know they win election. That's why people know they vote for them. Right? But guess what? They had a leader about 5 years ago that transformed the party, and a waitress inside waiter where they serve people. She just said, oh, she's the NDP chairman for that local municipal said, you're a young lady, what did you study? She said she did psychology. Oh, and you're working as a waiter, you can come into politics. Guess what? That girl won. She won. And the reason why she won was because the leader of that party had a very, very strategic campaign. And he rubbed off on that girl, and she won. And as a matter of fact, she couldn't speak French. And she had to quickly run to a French class and learn French before they inaugurated her. She's still in the parliament right now. So don't come and tell me the PDP, APC, that's the default. If all the young people, because politics is a game of numbers. On Twitter space, you see 3,000, 4,000. Just imagine 10,000 young people storming a political party like a mob, like NSAS mob. That party will know that some people don't arrive. And you can start dictating what you want within the party. So, Mr. Akin, as much as being outside and trying to do things without political affiliation is great, but the impact will be more effective if you are within a political party. ADC and YPP are the two, after PDP, APC, they are the two other parties that's like, third force. I know you guys, if you go there, storm the place, it's not a guarantee that you would win, right? It's not a guarantee that you would win, but you will shake the ground. And guess what? In shaking the ground and being very leveraging on technology, crowdfunding, your innovation that these old guys don't have, honestly, they belittle it. Some of them don't know anything about technology. You guys can leverage on it, and surprisingly, miraculously, you might win. So, but the problem I have trying to infiltrate them, it's really going to be challenging because the culture in these two parties, which we all can agree that APC, PDP, they are twins. They are bed of the same feather. And they have cultivated a culture over the years. So in order for somebody new to now come in and try to change the status quo, it's going to be very tough. Changing culture, changing mindset is the toughest thing you can do. But if you go into a party in mob, you can influence that change easier than PDP, APC.
Can somebody mute there? Don't know who, somebody has feedback. Because I think it's coming from you. Okay, so let me say this, right? YPP, ADC, of course, I'm all about the small parties becoming formidable forces to level the playing field. There's something that has happened to our country, and many of us have been taught politics the wrong way. They say, oh, this how it works is because we were trained to carry out things a certain way. It's like telling me on Christmas Day, the way you cook your jollof rice is to wake up and cook it 8 in the morning. So by 12, it tastes better than the person that started cooking it at 1 o'clock. It's a lie. You can cook that jollof rice any hour of the day, however you want. Sorry, I like jollof rice a lot, especially on Christmas Day. That's why my brain went to that analogy. But I'm saying this because when you think of political parties in Nigeria, when Nnamdi Azikwe and Awolowo and the guys in the late 50s, right? Egbe and youth movement and all of that, when they morphed into political parties, nobody taught them politics. They came up with the politics at the time that was able to help them galvanize numbers. And there's something that has happened within our politics. Our politics has gotten very corrupt. Now, politics is corrupt everywhere around the world. It's nothing new. All the way back to the Greek Empire, pick the empire you want, you can find strains of corruption in terms of what motivates people. But in Nigeria, it is bad. And I'll tell you why. If I'm a party faithful, let me use Etiosa as an example. Banky W running under PDP. I'm not a PDP member, but I'm a Soke because Banky W is running, and I want to be a party representative at the elections, at the polls, at the secondary school in VI, close to my house. I want to stand there and be the PDP polling unit agent that would help certify and make sure that my ward or my polling unit is secure for Banky W. All of the matters from making sure that PVC card reader, is being utilized. The INEC official is not bringing more ballot papers than what INEC has sent out. The form EC8A, when it comes time for signature of the political parties, I will sign, I would attest, and I'll make sure that my copy is taken. So the records I'm taken to the, ward level, to the local government level, to state level, from EC8B, C, and D, the numbers do not change. When I would nominate myself as that polling unit agent, the last thing I should be asking for, if we can sanitize our politics, is, pay me 10,000 naira to wake up election day to go and be polling unit agent. So when you start looking at election campaign finance, I say elections are expensive. Start from there. So when you say go into PDP in large numbers, go and join the party, go and hijack the party. Let me tell you why a lot of people are already there waiting. They want to be these elements at play during elections or during conventions that are paid individuals to participate in the process. So what would it take to say, hey, for example, Etiosa, 500 young people have joined the party and they are nominating themselves as the delegates that will stand in at the polling unit as stakeholders, as polling agents, and they are not going to collect money. So Etiosa will be the cheapest election for PDP, for example. You have to understand politics. I understand our Nigerian politics. So when people come and say, oh, our politics is how it is, no, we can change it. I can take an Oluomo and I say, hey, go into Akure, go into your hometown, go and be a PDP member, be the agent at the polling that will not take money from the party to help fulfill your obligations as a party agent. Can we start from there? But let me tell you something that's happened. The lowest in our society, at the bottom of the food chain, have positioned themselves because election day for them is payday. So when money motivates people in politics, not civics, not policy, not ideology, how can you expect things to change? So the Baba at the top now knows that in Etiosa, where there's maybe, for example, 855 polling units, he needs to spend 855 times 10,000 for polling agents, 855 divided by maybe number of wards. Let's say there's 215 wards times 50,000 for ward chairman. Then within the 50 wards for the LGA chairman, he will dish out 2 million naira, 4 million naira. He has to do his mathematics. It comes down to money. So when you say money runs elections in Nigeria, it's not because you're buying campaign billboards or you're funding, town hall where you're engaging people. You're having to buy rights, give to market women, giving money to Oga of Agbero, NURTW, because guess what? On election day, there's those NURTW boys that are card carry members that will stand at polling units, on election day and do the fighting for you to make sure they don't tear your sheets, make sure they don't soil your ballot papers, make sure they don't discard your votes. Guys, you have to learn what our politics is about. When people say learn politics in Nigeria and they want to teach you how to tell lies, that's not the politics that needs to change. Go down to the foundation of politics. Find where the money is and destroy the system that promotes money. I just gave you the playbook. Anyways, I'm not going to hold the mic too long. Sahid, still me on stage. I want to come back to you. Let's take Daishikawa. Go ahead, Lagos. Mic is yours.
Okay, I've been here for a bit with my hand raised up.
Oludi, oh my goodness, I was going to take you. I kept skipping your apologies. Go ahead.
Okay, very quickly, I'm going to try not to take too much time. A lot of what's been said, there's truth, and there are certain things that are misinformation. I'm going to start from what you just said now, Aki. The quality of people you get at your polling booths, that low, is extremely important. And I'll use a personal example. In 2011, I contested an election. My younger brother, the one that was right after me, behind me, was a polling agent for me, and someone who voted at the polling agent unit where he was at, who went to church with my mom, saw my mom days after the election in church, and said to my mom, "Tell your son to look for the guy who was polling agent at so polling unit where I voted. The guy worked hard. He did not accept nonsense from anybody. He ensured that the rules governing the election were followed to the letter T." Personal experience. And so when Aki says these things sometimes, these are things that are true. And these are areas where our young people can begin to be involved and have impact, where you're beginning to position yourself, where you can defend your interests. It is extremely important. How do you become a polling agent on a polling unit day? Fringe parties would look for people, which is one of the things when they talk about structure. Fringe parties would have to find people in the first instance, even if they have all the money, they have to find people that are loyal to them in the first place, which is usually a tough thing to do. Very tough. I was willing to pay agents in 2019. I couldn't find young people. Couldn't. So if our young people who understand what their interests are would join, and the party will not look outside of itself first when it's picking agents. It's a process that now we're talking about 2023. There are people already aligning to be polling agents. You know, go to training, you train polling agents. I've spent weeks training polling agents. So these are when they say to you, join. That's when they tell you join. When they talk about structure, that is part of structure. So it's not just the money. You can have all the money in the world and it won't move, it won't shift the needle in any direction. Okay, now secondly, and I'll drop the mic. Banky W joining PDP. Please, when a person who has contested an election put his life on the line, when you're a candidate, your life is on the line. That is the nature of the politics we play. Put his money on the line. Mine involved savings, property. I'm sure Banky would have, because he ran on a platform that didn't have an established structure. So he would have put a lot of his personal money into that thing. Why? Because also Nigerians do not. We don't have a culture of supporting candidates, which is a good thing when you see people coming together to support Peter Obi. Great thing. And we need to do more of that. And then they make a decision on the basis of that experience they have and strategically, politically align. And we're still coming here and talking APC, PDP are the same, APC, PDP are the same, APC, PDP. We're just going to stay where we are at. Do not belittle the experience that has made them to make that decision. If you believe in their candidature, please stand up, be counted, support them as best as you can. I think I'm going to just rest here and let other people speak. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that. I love that you equally shed some light on your personal experience. And again, look, for me, I think what I'm really hoping to do is I thought I knew a lot about politics till I went and worked as a volunteer in the 2019 elections, presidential, and I was like, wow. So when I hear structure, like you said, I see, but then I come from a very analytical background. I'm an engineer, so for me, process improvement, root cause analysis, failure analysis is what I was trained to do. And I look at our politics. Those things I mentioned, they have becoming generations deep. And I'm saying what generation would come in and undo or reverse this very backward approach we're taking, because my father's generation, they were lazy and they put together a structure that made them do the least work. They didn't do town halls. They didn't have to write, manifestos, policy agenda, have to sit down. Somebody teach me about capital markets. Somebody teach me about debt. Somebody teach me about fiscal planning. They didn't have time for that. Foreign policy, what is that? You're going to start talking to a Nigerian president on the debate stage, and you want to argue why the war in Sudan would affect Nigeria. He can't even tell you where Sudan is on the map. But then we sit down in Nigeria and we hear American politicians debate, and then when they fumble, where they mistaken West Africa for South Africa, we laugh at them and say, oh, they don't even know what they're talking about. If I ask the average Nigerian, tell me a state in Mexico, we can't even mention one. So I say that because our leaders need to equally measure up. Measure up to benefit us, not measure up to just look cool. But anyways, I hope we learn as we discuss. I'm going to take another speaker. So let's take
Okay, can I just quickly say something? 30
go ahead.
seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, please, if you're on this stage and you're listening to us have this discussions, go and listen to Banky W's video, the one he put out to announce. If you haven't seen it, please go and listen to it. And if you have, please go and listen to it again. There was something he said that was very fundamental. He said, we need to shift, and I'm paraphrasing, from looking for people where we want them to be and actually going to find them where they are at. The young people that you need to be part of the political process now are already part of that process. You just need to find them. More will join them eventually with these efforts, with Aki, with Renu, with all these other people saying the right things and engaging consistently. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that. So again, Sahid, I see your hand up. I promise I'll get to you. I want women to speak. Daish Kawa, are you there? Otherwise, I have to move to the audience. Daish Kawa, are you there? Okay. Perhaps can't speak now. So let's take Chuka Agbaso.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good day. I'm not sure if you can hear me clearly.
Go on. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. So just to clear the doubt, I'm part of the team that actually contributed, or rather donated, to get the PWB the candidacy form. It actually started sometime on the 25th of March, before he actually declared that he was going to run. So we came together as a group of friends, professionals and like minds, as the case may be. Decided to come together. Hey, let's see if we can contribute money and get PWB the form if he declares. And luckily he did. So we all gathered together. We were about 60 on our WhatsApp group. As at today, we're 256. In fact, we'll keep deleting people to bring in more people that are actually going to be active. On the Telegram, I think we're by 1,000 as the case may be. And on Twitter, we have a little bit of followership. So that said, not necessarily, we don't want to take credit to say, oh, we bought Peter B's form. No. The actual meaning behind that is the fact that we believe in competency. We believe in Peter B's competency. We believe he is the best candidate as of today. And trust me, Peter B is a Nigerian project. Now, if we want to go into why is he running on a party that we all know exists and all whatnot, to be very honest, I mean, taking cue from Banky's words, I can tell you, before you start being a third force, you definitely must have structure. APC came up today not being APC earlier on. APC was a coalition of several smaller parties. Now, if, for example, third force parties would take cue, like what APC did sometime in 2016, I think it was about, it was about sometime in 2012 or 2013, thereabout, they started coming up together. You can't actually do this in 1 year, in all honesty, right? So it's like you're in between the devil and the WC, right? For us, this WC could be the PDP, and the devil itself is, going into the third force. So for what we have as a job on hand as we speak today is the fact that we need Peter Obi to come out as a presidential aspirant, a candidate for PDP. So there's still a lot of work to do. Buying the form is just a drop in the water, in the ocean. We've not even done much, as the case may be. Talking about war chest, he might not have it, in all honesty. But we're also going to take you from what happened in NSAS. To be very frank with you, this is the first time in my entire life I've lived more than 4 decades in on Earth, and it's the first time in my life in Nigeria seeing younger ones come together and group themselves in a very professional and strategic manner. I must say it's something to be studied, it's something to be emulated. And that's what we want to take you on. We want to take you on crowdfunding, we want to take you on. Somebody spoke about in the US, you print your t-shirts and put your house post and all the rest. Exactly what we want to do. Obama never, nobody believed that we're going to have a black president in the US. But Obama came up, so irrespective of where he is, the main thing for us is the person. And trust me, the same thing. Let me try to use an example. Maybe everybody believed that Buhari had the wherewithal to take us out of where we are today. But I don't, in fact, let me not go there. But today we have somebody who we already have that is time tested, right? Everything speaks for him. If you look at his what's it called? If you look at his profile as of today, there's no EFCC, DSS, or whatever chasing him around. Do you get what I mean? So let's all queue behind competence. Nigeria today, Nigeria has a lot of potentials. I can tell you that without a shadow of doubt. Nigeria has a whole lot of potentials. But the only thing that we need to actually harness this potential is good leadership. And that good leadership for me is Peter Obi, honestly. Now, talking about Banky W also has a lot of good plans, but I wouldn't say much because I don't know much about Banky W. But going into the PDP as well to make that change is what matters. We all need to queue behind somebody who is really ready to make that change. Now, the last part I want to speak about is the youth too, which we always say when we come to voting, who are the people voting? Same thing happened in the answers. The youth too were neglected, right? Now, I can tell you, if you look at StatiSense, if you follow StatiSense on Twitter, it says about 21 million Nigerian youths of working, as in working age, they can work, do not want to work. 21 million. That's to tell you that we're in trouble. If I want to rephrase this is like 21 million persons ready to sell their votes for the highest bidder. So we have a lot of work to do as young men, young women on this basis. If we really want to go forward, I don't have any other country. I don't have a dual citizenship, whatever the case may be. Maybe this is my country and we need to make it work. I get so upset when I'm being scrutinized or searched 3 or 4 times if I'm traveling. Come on. Why would I be disrespected because I'm a Nigerian? So we can do better, and we're all calling on everybody. Look, let's do this. It is possible. There's whatever war chest is out there is surmountable, right? So based on this discussion, structure is one, and that's the reason why we want to be queued behind Peter B as the only candidate we can actually, push forward and the best candidate so far. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks. So I've had a few people on stage. If you can mute Chipper, thanks. Dr. Stina, your hands have been up for a while, and Sahid. Let me just give you both 30 seconds each. Probably roll you down and then bring more people up. So, Dr. Stina, take 30 seconds. Sahid, take 30 seconds after her.
Oh, sorry. I will have to apologize. That was an error. I didn't know how to take it down.
Okay, apologies. Okay, Sahid, go ahead.
I want to respond to what Mr. Oludi said. You might have gotten my what I said wrong. I do not belittle whichever candidate joins APC or PDP. I respect them for their decision. You are right. Contesting is like putting your life on the line, especially when it comes to Nigerian politics. But the point I'm trying to drive at is the structure we're talking about. It's about people. It's just delegating people to different roles from top to bottom. And if young people really want change, look, NSAS was a phenomenon. It was a global phenomenon that happened within a month, and that achieved a lot. So if young people, young Nigerians, flood whatever alternative party it is, and they structure themselves, I can believe you, between now and 2023, they can get that structure built. The problem is the will there? Are they ready to sacrifice the time and money in order to build that structure? That's the question. If they do it, they might not win, but they are going to try. And that's the point I really want us to send home. Because in the midst, Mr. Akin, let me wrap it up.
Okay.
Because you see, PDP and APC, we all agree they're the same. Because you can't, if you are in the House of Assembly, it's made up of a number of members, and Banky W, great things. He wants to do great things. But if he can't legislate the law because he's the only one talking, we saw the PDP guy that said we should stop people from all these public people to study abroad. Their children just look. We saw what the reaction. There was another one that said no, the pay that we're getting, we should cut. They said now your own pay plenty, go and cut it. So you can't, one person can't just do it. We need a volume of people with the same ideology to flip the switch. Thank you. I yield the mic.
All right, so I think your assessment is spot on. This is my problem. Are these political parties advertising themselves well enough to attract people into their fold? What does ADC stand for that attracts me as a young Nigerian? What does YPP stand for that attracts me again as an active youth? You talk of youth party as well. Again, the letter youth in front of party, is that enough to attract me into their fold? And I think that's where we should start getting it right. It's not just somebody that has money registers a party, and I would say this on the microphone. A lot of parties in Nigeria today that we call small parties are simply vehicles for rent. They're like rental cars. When the big politicians can't make it on a big ticket, on a big party, they go to the small party and they pay rent to fly their banner. We've seen that with Benga Daniel's party in Ogun State. We see that with Labour Party in Ekiti State. We see that with Accord Party in Ondo State. Equally, we see that with SDP, Omishore in Osun State. So again, we have to be very intelligent when it comes to politics in Nigeria. So yes, while you promote small parties, I equally want to advocate for them, but I'm simply saying, are they equally true to their charter? What makes ADC that party that attracts me and my personality? We're saying ideology, character of people, and all of the things they want to do in there are things that we all speak the same language. So even when I run for office in the party and I don't win, I just know that the group of people in that political party that exist with me are people that carry my value set. This is where, again, APC PDP will keep having the flip-flopping or cross-carpeting, as we call it. There are lots of carpetbaggers. Carpetbagging is convention is over or meeting is over. The person rolls the carpet and takes the carpet home. The next time there's a party, the person rolls out the carpet and steps on the carpet. Obviously, borrowing it from American politics. And I'm just saying, if you're going to make me join a PDP, Are there people in the room that I look at and I say next week, if it's a policy on maybe do we support the war in Ukraine, 90% of people that agree with me. Is it a policy of anti-abortion? 90% of people that support. And so we have to start going to this part, place of politics in Nigeria. People tell me, oh, we don't do ideology politics in Nigeria. That's why we can never grow as a country. It's missing from our train of thought. It's not there. So if we're not thinking policy on how we come together, then what are we even there for? That means the common interest everybody has is money. Let's go in there and share the loot. Somebody told me Nigeria is a business affair. I'm going to pass the mic to Chinaza. Chinaza, go ahead. Chinaza, are you there?
Hello, good day, everybody. Hello, can you put hear
Yes,
me?
go ahead. Go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chinaza, and I requested for the mic because I wanted to address the youth problem. Somebody said something about the youth not wanting to participate, the youth actually preferring the entertainment scene as opposed to the political scene. Please, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you go ahead? Can you go ahead?
Okay. So my first point is this: I'm going to blame the youth first before going to what I want to say. First of all, yeah, to a large extent, yeah, let's agree to the fact that youth don't want to read. Like they just want you to do the research and then come and throw it up to them that, oh, this is the person that's good. Nobody takes this extra effort to okay, let me know something about this candidate. Let me dig up this candidate. Let me know if there is something on him or her that's unacceptable by me, but that doesn't align with my policies and all of that. They just want to hear, oh, he's from Igbo, he's from Yoruba, he's from the tribalism, the ethnic card, and all of that. Okay, that's one of the place that I'm going to say, okay, the youth are not trying. But aside that, you see, the political scene in Nigeria is not encouraging for any young person at all. Like, if you want to do the whole let me carry politics in my head, I swear people will think you are mad because you keep on oh Jesus, it's too frustrating. One, you can't even talk about it because according to my mom, she'll be like, please stop shouting, you don't know who is passing, you don't know who will hear you. Like, your life is at risk for talking about what you should be talking about. You can't even the whole risk is just too much for people to want to say, okay, let me risk my youth, let me risk my life and say what I should say. Okay, now let's take for instance, I don't know how other country operates because I've not gone to another country before, but I want to believe that outside the shores of Nigeria, in a country that is functioning very well, you can call out a government for something they did wrong and it is not going to come and bite you later. But in Nigeria, you just have to, as little as tweet against, you don't even need to call names. Just say something that looks like you are not in line with what the present government or what the present political whatever is doing at the time. And then it is now time for you to look for a job or look for something. I don't know, you see them going to dig it out and tell you that they heard you said something like this, so for that reason they cannot help you, for that reason they cannot fill you into so and so place. A friend of mine once tweeted something about a serving governor doing something bad, and then it was time for them to host a project that they needed the government to sponsor. And you would not believe that this particular tweet was like they did not bring it up like, okay, it's because of this tweet that we're not giving you this, but they made it seem like, oh, you are against the government. So for now we have better thingy, we have better problems we're tackling, and this is not our priority for now, blah blah blah. And another stupid project that actually did not have any relevance at all was funded by that same governor. you will not say anything because nobody sent you to go and tweet nonsense about the nonsense he's doing. You're supposed to look away. So youth, like they just adopted this. I cannot come and kill myself and die. I cannot come and do one thing now and then tomorrow people will be looking for me. Oh, like your safety, both in terms of your well-being, in terms of your job, your getting a job or getting to a bigger place later. Just I don't know. This is one of the reasons me I can present and say, okay, this is why youth are not like they're not they don't want trouble. The trouble is too much. Like the attention you will get and then the negative backlash. People will backlash you because
So
you
can
are
you wrap up in like 30 seconds, Chinada? Go ahead.
yeah. Are you okay? Please can you come again?
No, yeah, take 30 seconds and wrap up, okay?
Okay, thank you. So people are like, okay, instead of me to go and say one thing that I know is the truth, that everybody knows is the truth, and get to be in trouble because when you get into trouble, everybody will abandon you. They rather just like put their attention elsewhere. So until we have structures that is going um to provide some sort of security for people that want to really march into this space and possess this space, I think that providing a structure first should be what we should be discussing before we start saying, oh, this structure is here and youth don't want to involve themselves. I'm sorry, this is what I have to say concerning the youth whatever involvement. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that. Let's take Miss Falila. Falila, go ahead. Falila, are you there? Okay.
Good.
Sorry. I think you're responding too late. Come back up. I'll have you speak next. Apologies. Jack, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to be here. In so long. Good afternoon. So just a quick one. I wanted to say that one of the major problems why the young persons are not getting involved, or should I say, are not really involved in Nigerian politics, is because, just like someone rightly said, the system is so harsh on young persons. But I'm not trying to exonerate young persons because a lot of us are not patriotic. We are not willing to make the necessary sacrifices needed to fix Nigeria. And the honest truth is that whether we like it or not, whether we like it or not, at the end of the day, we are the ones that are going to suffer for it. If you watch the scene, if you look at some of the current players in the Nigerian political scene, you would agree with me that these guys played huge role in trolling the current democracy we enjoy. And that is why some of them don't feel like, how do I put it? They feel a sense of belonging. Like they feel like they own this thing because they fought for it. And they are not seeing that young persons that have been able to say, okay, we deserve this. I'm going to give you an instance. If you own a company, and then maybe you must have built a $1 billion company, you're not going to hand it over to your son simply because he's your son. You rather look for a manager somewhere that will manage your business. From my engagement with some of the current players in the political scene, you will agree that these guys, they feel that some of the young persons in this current dispensation, we are not how do I put it? We are just not really interested in the things that are going on. A lot of us argue without facts. You will see a young man, he say he wants to be the president of Nigeria, and you're not realistic with even your planning. Some of the things you say you're going to do, you say you're going to pay, maybe for example, you say you're going to pay civil servant 100,000. How did you arrive to that? You have to first of all know the amount of money we generate as a nation. We have a budget of about 17 trillion. which you're going to borrow 10 trillion. Where are you going to get the money you're going to use to do some of those things? So sometimes we speak without intelligence, and that's why these people feel we are not ready yet. Now, just a quick contribution to the issue of His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, young persons buying his ticket. And a lot of persons have argued that it is not making sense. But it is still one of those things we are talking about. If you want a president, for example, President Muhammadu Buhari, the persons that made him the president, they are the people he would be answerable to, whether we agree or not. Buhari is not going to treat the young persons of Nigeria the same way he would treat someone like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because these are the people that made him the president. So if we truly want a president that will fix this country and work for the people of Nigeria, then the people of Nigeria must have to power his campaign. This is how it is done. We must have to own the system. We must have to own. And for some of us that believe that, okay, why not use another party? The APC and the PDP have messed up Nigeria. Well, I would want to say that the presidents we've had has messed up Nigeria, or maybe the leaders we've had from these parties have messed up Nigeria. I will agree. Now, why did I say so? There are some past and present former PDP governors and former APC governors that are doing well and that have done well before now. So you cannot use party, say because it's party. There are credible candidates and competent people in these parties. We must be able to identify them and support them. Support them emotionally, support them with your funds. I'm going to give you guys an example. Personally, I have a personal relationship with the chairman of YPP. And I can tell you that I'd rather vote for APC than vote for a YPP candidate. This is my personal opinion. Anybody can talk about it, but that is my personal opinion. You know why? Because I found out that it's not really about party. What Nigeria needs to fix this country is identifying, spotting, and supporting credible and competent people. We look at their records, we know people that can fix this country. And for some of us that have identified His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi, not necessarily because he is the best, so to say. Let me put it that way. There might be Nigerians that are better than him. But I can tell you that to manage executive powers for 8 years and come out with the kind of clean record that man came out with is a rare feat in this part of the world. You can go and check some of the persons that claim to maybe have better ideas. It is okay for you to have ideas, but we need to understand that the office of the presidency should how do I put it? It should be exclusive for people that have proven competence. You need to prove it. It's okay, you can be intelligent, you might be well-traveled, you might have been this and been that, but have you managed executive powers? You know what that means for you to you have the power to do and undo in a particular state, and for you to come out with that record and then you are articulate, you are able to show, okay, this is what I did, this is what I did, this is where I kept so money, this is where I kept so money. These are the things, these are the trusts we should be looking at. And if we want to fix Nigeria, we can do it. And I know. Yeah. So what I think young persons should do is to have a movement, like maybe an NSAS-like movement, like what the Take Back Nigeria movement is doing. NSAS-like movement that would identify and support credible candidates across board. It doesn't matter where the party the person belongs to. What we need is for young people to identify and support credible candidates, not necessarily forming a party and saying you want to form a youth party and all. That is my personal opinion. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I'll yield the mic now.
All right, so thanks for that. Miss Falila, take 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah, good day, everyone. So, to the topic, Uncle Oluomo, I remember then that we used to have our enter space then, 20 days. I do say it. And you used to be the first person to counter me that, no, 2023, we are having another party. We can do it. I used to say it then. That whether we like it or not, it's either PDP or APC for now, until we are ready to actually change. We have a lot of parties now. Why can't all those parties merge together as one and decide that, okay, because it's these two parties, we want all of us to merge together as one against this party? I remember the last election when Showore, Magalu, they are like 5. They asked them that, okay, you people, it's impossible to win individually. Can you people just merge together as one so that we, the youth, we can actually vote for that one person? That you people between yourself, you should produce. They said no, they want to come out individually. See, Banky W going to the PDP, I'm not surprised. These are the people that they have the tendency of winning an election in Nigeria now. Dear youth, if you want to have another party win, start now. Not 2026 that will now wake up again and say, oh, we want another party. Let us start now if we want another party to emerge. Whether we like it or not, it's still PDP and APC. If you want another party, start now. Thank you.
All right, thanks. So we plan to keep this to 2 hours. So we'll take another 10, 15 minutes, probably get 3 more speakers. So Plato, again, I want to be fair to everyone that's on stage. So Plato, take a minute. I want to just cut it down to 1 minute at least. You know, we can take inputs. It's Saturday. I appreciate everyone joining. Reno has another space later tonight at 9 o'clock. We'll be on that as well. So it'll be a continuation. But Plato, go ahead. Take a minute. Oh my goodness, apologies. Plato, I moved you by accident. I was trying to take somebody else off stage. Please come back right away. Apologies, sincere apologies. Okay, Plato is back, so give him a second to get his mic functioning. Yes, go ahead, Plato, yeah.
I really appreciate. I'll be having network issue. Okay, I just want to add that you see the subject of politics. Most times I compare it to that eunuch, Ethiopian eunuch that was traveling. He was reading a Bible he didn't understand until Philip went to explain to him. I think we need to explain to our brothers, our sisters, how important politics is, because if nobody taught them, I don't think they will understand. Some of us that came from a family that are highly political, it helped us to get the subject very early in life. But if you come from a family that both parents are not interested in politics, it will be hard or difficult for the person to get to know politics. Let me also say that I agree with the speaker that have spoken already regarding supporting credible candidates, no matter the party that they are. If you look at what is happening in Anambra State today, it was because Soludo said something. He said that he went to disrupt the system from the inside. He kept quiet, endured a lot of things, and today he's mobilizing the people of the state and they are queuing behind him. Just for us to understand how important an executive head is. Once the head is good, the body will follow. So if we mobilize our people, educate our people, the interactions we're having in the entertainment industry, we can move the same people into politics. Let them understand how important it is. And once we can do that, sir, I can assure us that that Nigeria will be better for it. Most times I listen to radio, people talk sports, football in 4 times in a day, but I want us to talk the subject of politics even 10 times in a day, because of all subjects, it is the most important. It controls other aspects of our life, both its economic, health, and otherwise. If we have a good political system and a good leader, it will help all of us. Let me say something here. Political party.
So if you can wrap up in 15 seconds,
all right,
please, Plato.
I want something to form overnight, but we can start today. Lead anywhere you are as someone. Show leadership. When you ask people to join you, they will join you. Don't wait until you're in political office or political party before you show leadership. Whatever you are, show leadership. Ahmed Musa, a footballer, he's showing leadership. Tunde under the bridge, he's showing leadership. Whatever we are, please let's show leadership so that when we need people, they will stand with us. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that. Gospel RX, go ahead. Mike is yours. Gospel, Oga Pharmacist. Okay, going once, going twice. Oga Pharmacist. All right, let's take Oki. Michael, thanks for being patient.
Yeah, thank you. I've been raising my hand for over 1 hour now, but all good. Yeah, I've listened to a lot of things, today. Because I wanted to respond to Said because he made a lot of points, some kind of things, that I find funny. Now the thing is, I've been in a family where politics, in fact, I've known politics since when I was a child, 11 years old. Then, from paternity, Delta State. All our family, we indulge in politics. So it's as if I've born into a political family in Delta State. All right. Now I want to say something. When people are saying PDP 1999, PDP APC are the same and all this kind of stuff, we need to form a new party. Let me just give little history. From 1999, PDP had over 30 governors. Okay. Buhari was contesting. Okay, 2011, same thing. 2007, the same thing. PDP was controlling a lot of the states. Till 2015, AD in Lagos, then they had AD, they had ACN, before they merged and become one political party. In 2011, PDP boasted that they are going to govern Nigeria for 60 years. Why did they say so? Because they believed that the party had structures in all the states and wards. It's not all about forming political party. Even if you form political party now, in 2027, that political party cannot win any election. In 2019, we had 71 political parties contesting for election. What happened? Now we had 18. All other parties were deregistered. So it's not all about forming political party. If you form a political party now, I swear to God, in 2027, the next election, that party will be deregistered. Okay? We have 774 local governments, over 200,000 wards. You need to look at all those wards. In 2019, I was watching online TV, when they were interviewing local people in the rural area, asking them, do you know Mogalu? They said they don't know Mogalu. Do you know YPP? They said they don't know YPP. Do you know Showore? They said they don't know Showore. You understand? So that is how it is. Now, I want to also say something, because we keep saying that NSAS, the North and the South. I need to say this so that we will get it clearly. I always see Nigeria as like a country. Okay, we are like two countries living in a country. Two countries living in a country, the North and the South. All right, we are talking of NSAS. The North, they did not protest for any NSAS. Okay, so when you are saying you want all the structures, NSAS people to join into to form a new party, it won't work. You have to also think about the North as well. You have to look at the 2019 election, collected PVC. The North Central had 10.5 million. The Northeast had 10.4 million. Northwest had 18.2 million. Southeast had 8.5 million. South had 11 million. Southwest have 12 million. So you have to also get support from the North, and you need to win 25% in most of the states. 25%. For you to be a president. Said made mention of Peter Obi, saying that Peter Obi is supposed to leave PDP and join a new party. That is, if he did not get the ticket. Even in 2019, Kadera Ahmed asked her, why did you leave ABGA? He said, I don't know the exact thing that he said, but he just made a small analogy. He said that when you are traveling from Lagos and your destination is London, will you use a car? Will you use a car to go to London? No, you won't use a car to go to London. You will use a vehicle. Sorry, you will use an airplane to get to your destination. That's what Peter Obi said. All right. Look at Dele Momodu. In 2011, he contested as president. What happened? He lost. He realized that he has to be in a political parties, in a top political party before he can win election, because you have delegates, all right, and party agents in over 2,000 wards. I keep saying, people, when you are saying PDP and APC are the same, Nigeria this, Nigeria that, the problem is Nigerian constitution. All our solution is to the problem of Nigeria today is constitution, because the constitution won't allow. Okay, let me say this. we need a people constitution, because the constitution can make an intellectual, a competent, intelligent man becomes a national failure. That is Nigeria constitution for you. I can give you some analogy. A politician, a governor, the camp, look at what's his name, Dave Umahi. Do you think if in the constitution we have a clause in the constitution stating that for a governor to leave another party and join, for a governor to leave his party and join another party, that governor need to resign? I bet you the Ebonyi State governor will not leave the party. The constitution states that no governor can be sued for criminal activities and all those stuff. But other countries, governors are sued. You understand? It's the constitution itself. Look
So
at VAT.
can you wrap up in like 10
Yes, I
seconds?
will wrap up. Look at VAT today. VAT. Everybody, we are talking about VAT. A governor will construct road, pay VAT. Federal government will, for instance, a government will construct road in Rivers State, okay, and another governor in Kogi State will not construct road. The money that Jason Wike is using for VAT, the money that is given to contractor and contractor is paying VAT, that money will be shared to other states. It's the constitution. All Nigerian problem lies in the constitution. By the time they start suing governors, when the constitution when we make a constitution that provide that a governor must be sued, okay, or for any politician that's decamping to another party, that politician need to resign. I bet you that's the time you will see all this defection will stop. That is how it's supposed to be. The solution to Nigeria problem is our constitution. We are talking of restructuring today. Why are they talking of restructuring? In Canada, Said was talking about Canada. In Canada, the state register business. In Nigeria, it is national. All right. In Canada today, the federal government control military, custom, immigration, foreign policy, monetary policy. Justin Trudeau does not build pipe-borne water in other communities or construction of roads. No, the burden of being the president is too much. We have to devolve power to all the states.
All right,
Police,
thanks for
police
that.
and
Thanks for that.
community
I
police
need to
in
pass the
all
mic.
countries, but
Brother,
there's
okay,
state police in Nigeria.
I need
Thank
to roll
you.
the mic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's take Waju. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'd like to say thanks to everyone that has actually spoken. And let me quickly just address this. When I saw the news about Peter Obi, being sponsored by a couple of youth together from, and the declaration of Banky just a couple of hours ago, what came to my mind is that it looks as if Nigerians are actually coming to the reality of the fact that he who pays the piper dictates his tune to a large extent. One of the reasons we can actually get accountability from our present set of rulers, I will not call them leaders, is because first and foremost, they are the ones actually paying us instead of us paying them, as it were. Uh, I worked as a journalist until last year, for about 10 years. And then I was in a state, governed by a supposed intellectual who is an associate professor. He's known as doctor. I'm not going to say more than that. And I saw the way he was actually ruling that state. And what came to my mind was that Nigerians, particularly the youth, were not ready for leadership. Even though we see all of these wrong things that these people are doing, because of what some of us stands to gain, we can't really do the right thing. Now, in a way, I've always held this opinion. I don't know whether it's actually flawed or the right thing. I still do not believe that people joining established political parties that are on ground, especially if you have good intentions, I still do not believe that that's a way to change Nigeria because it's a systemic thing. Um, very many people who probably have a personal relationship with the vice president will tell you it's not a bad individual, but he's found himself in a political party where whatever good intentions he probably has is almost impossible for him to realize those things. I'll give you a simple example. Before now, anytime he was given an opportunity to at least lead the nation, anytime Mr. President was away, to a large extent, we always saw some of the things he would do, and we always applauded it. But that tells you something that after Mr. President would return from his voyage, as it were, we knew what always happened thereafter. So for me, when I see good people, claiming that they want to go to established parties to see how they can actually disrupt what is happening there, the question would be, how many are these good people that are going into a system that has whether at least a million, a million members? How do you're going in as 10,000 people? You want to influence those people who already know the way things are done, and they would abide by that, because one way or the other, if that's their own nest, it gets them what they really need. So for young Nigerians, maybe 2023, we might not be able to arrest the situation and get to what we need, but we can start planning now. And see, these are the things we need to do. Most people might not believe this. First and foremost, we need to build a new culture. uh, I don't want to make a very general statement, but nearly everybody, even on this space, one way or the other, we're encouraging everything that is happening here. Some of us, the deals, for instance, where we're working, we're not even sincere. We don't even abide by that. How many of us really are paying tax as we should? And
Yeah,
guess what?
can you wrap up in like 15 seconds, please?
Okay, I would just do that. So moving forward, guys, I think what we need to do as young Nigerians, who really want the best for this country, is that first and foremost, let's eschew all form of ethnic, bigotry and what I call selfishness on our part, and then follow individuals not because of what we stand to gain from them, but what we stand to offer the nation in a way that the nation will benefit from it eventually. Thank you. That'll be my submission.
All right, sure. Equivalent. Equivalent. You want to go ahead? Timmy, going once, going twice. Okuna, go ahead.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, a speaker said sometimes ago on this page that youth are not ready to work, but the underlying factors that some youths are not ready to work. Let me give you an example. You are working in a space, in a workplace, they are paying you like 30,000. And when you sit down and calculate your expenses on transport, it's over 20,000. Wouldn't you rather sit in your house? You have not calculated the amount you used to eat. That's why it is not really reasonable for some of them to work. They would rather sit at home. Now, this country is back. Let's agree that. Let's agree with that. And we are talking about this political party, that political party. See, those political parties, the people that are there are Nigerians. That is who we are. PDP and APC are the reflection of who we are as a nation. Take it. If you see people in politics, walk along the street and share money and see how people will be praising you because they are hungry. You can't get a ticket of a political party without you paying hugely for that ticket, bribing delegates in dollars. You can't. Now, if you spend that amount of money, won't you pay back? See, I would love, even if you can contribute, let's all of us, I don't know, as at now, if Osinbajo decide to throw his hat in there, I will say, fine, another person will make sense. But as at now, in PDP, as at now, I can only see Peter Obi. APC, nothing yet. Our 10 naira, our 5 naira, if you contribute it for this guy, it will be running to billions. None of Atiku, all of them can cope with that. Our 5 naira, 10 naira. You better let's contribute now and get that guy to be our president. Because every one of us line up behind him, PDP won't have option than to give him tickets. But if you are waiting, see, all these YPP, all these things. Now, let me give you an example. After the last general election, where is Solo? Where is Showore? Where is Mogalu till date? All the state elections that happen after that, all the let's say local government election, all the by-election in the state House of Assembly, Senate, House of Representatives. Where are all those parties? They are dead. Now they are coming after 4 years again. Those people are not serious. Sorry to say. That's not how to do politics. That's not how to do politics. You have to stay in the game. Stay in the game every time. They don't feed the candidate at all. They now will come and want to become president. Is that how it's done? PDP and APC are the only platform that can get anybody to become senator. Let's go to president. If you want to become a senator, it's better you go to PDP or APC for you to stand a chance, because they have the platform that can take you there. All these other parties, they are even not serious. What's the ideology of YPP? Do we know? What's the ideology of SDP? The hope was high after INSAS, but I noticed even if their Twitter presence alone, they can work on that. I think a lot of people will line up behind them. And lastly, let's stop delegating that people should party. And what I'm saying there, oh God help us. Those leaders in those political parties, including APC and PDP, we had a small meeting, we divided ourselves. Some go to APC, some go to PDP. The story there are the same at the grassroots. People that you will see there are the old women, the people that are in the
Can you wrap
market,
up, please?
the people that are in the market, NURTW people.
Yeah, please wrap up. Okay.
That's all. Thank you.
All right, thanks for that. So let's take Ashagun, go ahead.
All right, thank you, Mr. Akinola. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll start by saying I think we have an unhealthy, obsession with representation in this country. Whether it's women, whether it's youth, we just have an unhealthy obsession with representation. We believe that we have to be there. Before things that our interest would be taken care of. I think post EndSARS, what the youth should have, and I've been saying this since then. You've checked my timeline. They started youth party, and then all the talks of going into politics and all that. What we should have identified are our interest. Our interest as youth from EndSARS, for example, is police brutality, unemployment, and a whole lot of all that. Not youth participation in politics. That's not our interest. There are many youths from the APC, from the PDP today, who are in government, and what are they doing about the interest of the youths? What are they doing about police brutality, military brutality? Nothing. The same thing for our women as well. They keep. There was a whole noise, I think, earlier this month about 110 women in seats in an House of Assembly, an House of Assembly that is already congested and useless. But we are clamoring for participation. Whereas we should be looking for our own interest. Our interest as youth, should be our priority. We should look for which candidate would ensure that this interest, because that's the reality. And I love what Banky W said. He said, you work with Nigeria where it is, not where you think it should be. Nigeria, as of today, there are only two political parties, and as because of the situation at the grassroots. In my village, for example, if you take 5,000 naira there for every candidate, you will get that village. You will get the vote for that village, and that's just one village in Nigeria. They have about 3,000 votes, if not 7,000, and that's just one village in Nigeria. How many villages do we have around in Nigeria? So you work with Nigeria where it is, not where you think it should be. Identify the candidate that you think that you have examined and you think is competent to get you your interest. Our interest as of now is security, it is economy, it's employment, and a whole lot of and all that. And we know the candidates, at least from the people who have declared, we know the candidates who are capable of doing this, who have done it before. So let's queue behind them and all that. And my second point would be that without without, someone said it earlier, without a legislature that is up to task, and then a constitution that allows an executive to perform, even Peter Obi himself would not perform. So that's why we have to. That's why I applaud what Banky W is doing. Going into House of Assembly, House of Representatives.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So we have to identify. Sorry. Okay, you have to identify
Wrap up, please.
a whole host of other people apart from Banky W. I have there's a guy in what's it called now in Osun State also vying for House of Representatives on the platform of PDP as well. These are the people we should support. Let's not waste our time with what's it called we should go into politics. We should go in. Yes, I don't know if you are sinking in the mud. What you should be looking for is a stone to stand up first. You won't jump from the mud immediately.
All right, thank you.
So we're having our priorities just misorganized.
Thanks, Ashelo.
Thank you.
All right, why don't you go ahead? Why your mic is yours? Are you there? Okay, Waju is not there. I'll have to drop him. So again, very good conversation, quite insightful. Look, it's always a pleasure hearing, diverse voices. We wish LTW all the best. Obviously for Peter Obi's supporters, as energetic as they are, I think it's a model that we all can adopt. Oluomo, I don't know if you have any closing thoughts, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up.
Well, just like to say, it's been a great afternoon. I've listened to so many different takes from different people. We're here to enlighten each other, and wonderful conversation. I love the Peter Obi's what's it called? The lady who bought the ticket for him. Contributed part of the ticket for the nomination form, and the supporters. Hey, but we have to keep the fire going. A lot of things going on. It's not really, it makes me sad. Just yesterday, look at the Lekki Toget was open yesterday. A lot of journalists were brutalized. Even the police are not letting journalists do their jobs. It's got that bad. We have to ask ourselves, how on earth do we get to this place? That journalists, speakers and cameras, the police were even saying blatantly, like, listen, I'll shoot you, I'll kill you, everything, threatening the journalist. But it's a total disgrace on Lagos State. And we have a candidate in Lagos State, someone like Tinubu wants to run for president. In the state of Lagos State, when people are going to talk about Tinubu, for example, people talk about, Tinubu has done one Lagos State, blah blah. But just like, for example, in the same Lagos State, understand that even the right of the journalist is not being respected. And this kind of person that we want to vote for to become a president, we only need to think twice because, listen, we can't live in a country in 2022 that lacks value for human lives, the respect for human rights values in our society. It's a total disgrace, and this thing goes viral around the world. How would the foreigners be looking at us as a country thinking this is not a country, this is a banana republic? Why would a whole police officer be threatening? A whole journalist. Total disgrace on the Lagos State government, and that tells you exactly what we are today as Nigerians. We could talk about maybe in paper, Nigeria's democratic society, but I'm afraid we're not behaving like democratic society at all. Some things I've seen in Nigeria is, look at a country like South Africa, for example. South Africa is one of the most countries in the world that has one of the highest levels of protest. You never hear the police brutalizing them or anything in this kind of country. Talk us of their journalists for crying out loud. Journalists for crying out loud. A police officers are sitting journalist cameras just for doing their constitutional job. Standing just in public, doing their job. The guy showed his eye, channels, what's it called, journalist, and guess what? He was still getting brutalized. Unbelievable. A total disgrace on our democracy. We have to keep the fire going. We have to enlighten ourselves to understand that in 2023, if we do not get rid of these political leaders, all this godfatherism and stuff, and put an end to it, listen, I'm afraid we're going to be back here again for many, many years. Same old questions, same old problems over and over again. We can get it right if we demand for good governance. This is not rocket science. It's possible. It's possible. Is Nigeria a failed state today? Yes, yes. Nigeria's a failed state. Let's stop sugarcoating. Let's call a spade a spade. We need to come back on the drawing board. How do we move forward? How do we get it right? Let's say ourselves as citizens of this country. And we are not tired of it. The level of insecurity, the bandwidth, the value of no lives. Just look at what happened in the Abuja Kano Railway. The president has not come out to tell us exactly in a stand in democratic society, and this is the man we voted for. The man that was so desperate for power, begging Nigerians, telling us all dupes of lies before 2015. If someone tell me Buhari will be like this today, listen, I'll cover my head in shame. I mean, I voted for this man in 2015, thinking this man was going to deliver good governance. But what's brought us is actually been the worst. Worst. I would take Jonathan 100% all day long than Buhari. Jonathan would have gone to Kaduna, Abuja, visited the families and done the needful. But this man sat there like we're begging for power. You know, Buhari should be ashamed of himself. Total shameless old cargo fool. It makes me angry. If that was his child, would he be sitting down there acting like all is cool? The Qatar ambassador went to also Rock yesterday. They're acting like everything is okay. I don't understand. How did we get here? How on earth did we get here? How do we, what's it called? I mean, vote for people who have no empathy at all. What kind of leader are you? And Buhari will go down in history as one of the worst ever presidents in our history. These people they're not even ashamed of themselves. What legacy are you going to leave behind? In 7 years that Buhari has been in power, the only good thing I can say the Buhari did was sign the electoral law. Nothing else. And he signed the electoral law because he was under immense pressure. I mean, this is a man that tells all rubbish nonsense, how he wants to bring in democracy, but also that is the life from the pit of hell. And enough is enough. It's time we get rid of this APC party. And guess what, Nigerians? If APC don't kill you, it's about time we kill APC ourselves in Nigeria. Enough is enough. Absolutely. How many people have come out and said to us and say, you know what? The president cannot even come out and even make a speech. I'm ashamed of the nation. Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information, has not said anything. The DSA themselves have not said anything at all. What exactly is DSA's job? The only thing DSA will tell us that, Nnamdi Kanu is the national security. Yellow Show is the national security. But this bunch of cowards, the DSS, couldn't even have intelligence to tell us that, hey, this is